before diving into the discussion, I want you all to paint a vivid picture of a classroom with AI algorithms, working on developing those interactive and personalized modules of learning. I am sure we are not yet that, but we'll find out today about the status and where we are headed, okay? So, starting with you, Dr. Sabnis, what do you think is the current landscape of AI in education in India?
Yeah, good evening, each one of you. And at the outset, before I start, thank you, Business World, for this wonderful opportunity. And it's a wonderful subject to think and to talk about. When we talk about AI in education, I would rather put it this way that it is before GPT, ChatGPT, and post-GPT. I think we have all been talking about AI, its involvement in the various fields, only past GPT. I mean, once we have come to know about GPT, I think, which was just about 2 years old. GPT, I think, was launched sometimes in 2022, and we are in 24. In 2 years, it has made tremendous impact on every field. He is now asking me that I've been asked what is the impact of, what is the kind of scenario in the about AI in education field. I would say that it's very extremely difficult and probably too an early stage to say upon anything. I'm reminded of a wonderful thing. We keep hearing that AI is going to replace the manpower, the other resources that are useful. But what I feel is AI is not going to replace men, or the men who know AI as in future are going to replace another men who are not aware of AI. Probably AI has to be used as a tool, and I would rather say this, that AI can probably teach us swimming without getting into water, but what is important is whether do I need to learn swimming without getting into water or after getting into water. So as far as coming to the crux of the issue, AI as a tool probably, we have from two viewpoints. One is from the educator viewpoint, and one is from the student's viewpoint, which is absolutely important. From the educator's point of view, both the disciplines, there is the educator or the children, have to get exposed to AI. There is no doubt about it, because AI has to be used as a tool. But each one has to learn, and the basic basic aspects of AI has to be learned. But I think there's a long way to go, and the way we use each educator and the students, the way they use AI in their learning process becomes absolutely important. I don't know whether to touch upon that at this point in time.
We'll get back to this.
Yes. So, but as of now, I would rate, barring few schools which can be numbered, I think AI is still far, far, far away from being implemented in the schools, because I've been associated with education departments at national level and at state level. So I can say this very confidently that we are very far to implement AI in the entire education system across the nation. Thank you.
Veda, your thoughts?
Good evening, everyone. I think I agree with Sir, but I have to highlight few of the pointers over here. Few minutes before, there was one gentleman who came on stage and just asked, where all we can use AI. And we had answers flowing everywhere saying that AI is everywhere now. So I think it becomes very, very crucial for all of us, being educators, how we can implement. Probably if you had asked a question, those who are sitting here, probably if we would have asked about any Excel sheet 5 years before, we hardly would have known what is Excel sheet, what is Microsoft Teams, what is Zoom, and what are all the tools, what we are using it regularly now. Online classes have become so user-friendly to each and everyone, everywhere. So is AI now. So as a person, I would like to say AI is also being used as a counseling session. We have seen that. To be honest, I have seen my cousin using AI for, in her personal WhatsApp chat. Whenever she has some issues, she just, types over there to the AI assistant in WhatsApp, and she gets instant result, wherein she need not go anywhere. So for me, I feel very strongly AI can really, give a lots and lots of input, and it can make the structure more productive, and it becomes really useful for the education system if we start implementing this in a right way. For anything which we really need to start up, I feel we have a lot of drawbacks. We are aware of it. But how it has to be used fruitfully, because you have a lot of adaptability which we really need to look into it. So keeping all these things in the mind, I think if we start using it, especially when I think basic things, when we as educators, we always have lots and lots of issue in assessment. It's very simple, but assessment and instant feedback is what we are looking into it. The feedback to the child after writing the exams comes after 1 month or 2 months. Though we have ASSET and all the other kind of exams where they give you the percentile, but to understand what exactly the child needs to show the progress, in what area the child needs to get into the details, I think it takes time. The child would have forgot what exactly he needs to do in. But if we use this AI in that, I think probably instant feedback, giving right feedback to the students on the spot of what they have to look into it. We have different set of people in the classroom, and we teach the same methodologies, though we say pedagogy, curriculum, but reaching to the student is what we are looking into it. But this can really help us to make sure the level of the understanding and the teaching of particular student and take it to what he really needs. That's where I feel where AI stands.
Ms. Abraham, your thoughts from adoption to execution, where do we stand?
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for having me here. It's an honor. Let me give a background about where I come from. I am in the area of higher education. We run engineering colleges in School of Architecture, Institute of Management Studies. So I would say more than a consumer of AI in the context of today's panel, we should be the ones who are also designing the products that will be implemented in AI in the schools. Now, your first question of the adoption today in India, I agree with our learned panelists. Yes, it is definitely in its infancy. We have heard sporadic reports of schools having robots replacing a teacher, or perhaps in using AI in in the administrative areas. Personalized learning is something that is a problem that every school grapples with, every parent is anxious about, and every child is different. So this is an area that we as educators have not been fully able to solve, because every generation is different. I think that's an area that AI will definitely be able to contribute. Now, is it already doing it? Not yet, but there is huge amount of interest, the huge amount of investment, and huge area for this problem to be solved. Can AI be adopted in other areas? There was this impressive talk just before the last panel about Talisman. I was very impressed. They are there to bridge this knowledge gap, identify the knowledge gap in a student. So there are manifold areas in which AI can very productively improve efficiency, improve the way we deliver knowledge and develop our students holistically in several areas. So I only will put my energy, strength, and my students behind creating products that will solve the AI gap, provide the AI solutions.
Well said, well said. Dr. Dutta, you have had some experience with AI in education. So is personalized learning still a distant dream, or we are taking strides and marching ahead?
Good evening to the August gathering, and thank you so much, Business World, to giving this beautiful opportunity where we can share the insights and can have insights as well. So I would like to answer a few things as my able panelist on the dais had spoken, whether the AI has been inculcated into the mainstream. So when we are talking about BGS, our Prakash Nath Swamiji is a visionary. So I will say that I will little deviate from the statement that Indian schools have not taken AI. For us, our school, it is integrated into all the classes from grade 6. And I will just give few examples of that. We have a BGS blind school where we are having more than 1,000 students. And once we had made a visit every year in the joy of giving, we visit those schools and contribute to their daily life. So there is one child who is called Prajwal. He is in grade 11, and he told that, ma'am, can't we devise something out which can help these people to read outside Braille? So it is possible only through AI. And we am so happy to say that today we have come up with a device, we have come up with a system that is called Netra Eye, made by our students, and that is made with the help of AI, where these Braille are no more required to these blind people. They can read it without the Braille as well. And thank you so much. One more child in grade 8. He used to always get, as we all know, even the 5 fingers in our hand are not of the same size of efficiency or effectiveness. One child was there in grade 8, very smart though, but he usually gets very less marks. So he came and he discussed that ma'am, why is it so? I told, let us think on that. Speculations, and after speculations, he came up and we decided that, yes, the particular loopholes or the doubts of the students are not cleared. So we devised an AI tool again, where the particular learning disabilities and the abilities of the students of that particular subject was measured and was made a graph. And hence, the teacher was asked to clear the doubts, and it was student specific. It was not generalized one. So every student's report card and the marks were analyzed through the AI tool, and we came to know and understand that the particular child who is so brilliant and is so excellent, but why the marks are not getting reflected as per his learning or intelligence quotient. So then finally, when we made this, now it is working fantastic, while the teacher can exactly understand that where they have to touch in the loop sessions. And the third innovation that our school has done, our school students have done through the Atal Tinkering Lab, is the communication skill app. That is one. But what was much more interesting was the parking slot. If you all go to the malls and everywhere, now also the manual numbering system is there, or they will feed it. AI has not touched it. But the students of BGS and PS, they have prepared our beautiful skill app, which is called Parking Slot Allocation, where automatically, if it, we have every wheelers, 2-wheelers, 4-wheelers. So we need to say, and in 4-wheelers, we have so many categories, sedan, SUVs. So it is now will give you the slots and numbers as per your vehicle. So these are certain AI inculcations into the school that has already been initiated. And the more we initiate these things, we make it more compatible. And we can make the educational system, this ecosystem. We all are the stakeholders. We need to reciprocate to our responsibilities. So while we are doing this, definitely we are trying to take the students, make them ready. They are now, it's only 2024. We saw the pandemic in 2019. So we never know that the students, how they have to face this world when the world will be in 2060, 2070, 2080. I think AI is the only category or the only criteria through which we can visualize the future for these students and make them the rightful global citizens. I think that's
I think we can be a little more generous with our applause. So coming back to Dr. Sabnis now, in your experience, how can AI enhance the quality of education, retention, and learning? What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah.
This is the age of, this is the age of distraction where the amount of retention is decreasing by the day, and we are also facing a age compression. So how do we put it into context?
Yeah, thank you for the wonderful question. Now, the AI in education actually should not be confused. I personally feel AI, the role of AI in education in the present context, what we are talking, is how an AI as a tool enhances individuals' capability or how it adversely affects it. This actually is the problem. Let me cite you with an example. Now we have, after the GPT has come, the open AI or the artificial intelligence tools, what we have is approximately equal to about 1,400 artificial intelligence tools we have now available for the school kids or for that matter anybody. Now we have an app called Gamma app which is helping us to prepare the PPT in a matter of about 10 seconds. If a child, for example, if this particular app is made available to a child of, let us say, about 6th standard or 7th grade or 8th grade, it's not a big deal for the child of that standard to prepare a PPT about a subject which actually is rightly not aware of it. So what happens is that particular preparation of PPT for that particular child on that particular subject, whether is it being done with the complete knowledge or without the knowledge. This is where the discretionary ability, how to use the AI as a tool for the enhancement of the child's capability comes into picture. Now what I'm trying to say is, ultimately whether we use AI as a tool in the classroom or not, what important is ultimately what is the ultimate goal of education? What exactly are we trying to teach? I'm reminded of a wonderful definition. What exactly is education? The education is a process which actually begins after the completion of the formal education. And if this is true, and I'm sure everybody agrees that education is a process which actually begins after the completion of the formal education. How useful are we to the society, and how do we make ourselves capable of this using various tools? This is what actually comes into picture. Now this can be used, AI as a tool can be used in tremendous ways. What important is, somebody was referring in the last one about NEP. For example, National Education Policy 2020 speaks about Pancha Vikasa, Kosha Vikasa. That is the five-folded development of a child. Now, how do we develop, how do we make the child, how do we bring this integral development in a five-fold development? Artificial intelligence, when we talk about, it essentially deals with the mental domain of an individual development. If the mental development has to take place, there is a primary physical development and the emotional quotient has to be improved in a child. Only the natural growth itself takes place in the age-wise development of a child. For example, in the earlier age, in the entire development process, up to the age of 5 or 6 or even up to the 7, it is the physical development which actually comes into the priority, it comes into the forefront. It is after that, it is the brain development, it is the adding of the files and then the information and the entire learning process. The entire learning process also, what you suggested, has got three. It is first the absorption and then the assimilation and then the recalling possibility. Until the absorption and the assimilation takes place in whatever manner we have to use, it is not possible to recall this. So please use AI as a tool without compromising for all the five-fold development of a child, and that too as a age-wise development. A child cannot be taught or put a lot of pressure overlapping at the age of 5, for example, instead of allowing the child to physically develop. If you start developing the fine motor skills, which is not the age to develop at all, or even if you put a pressure on the mental development at the age of 7, there is a possibility that we are adversely affecting the child and resulting in the dyslexia. So these are the issues which, whether absence of AI or the presence of AI, we absolutely be very careful and use our discretionary to use this AI as a tool. AI will absolutely helpful for us to enhance the individual capability. For example, the personal learning path can be learned. AI as a tool. Now, I think dermatographics is one of the field which actually is coming forward, analyzing the children based on the intelligence, based on the learners' learning capabilities. All these aspects have to be understood. AI can be taken to classify the students based on the, ultimately AI is on the probabilities, and the more the samples we have, higher the predictability, closer is the prediction. So we need to have a lot of samples. We need to go for AI to become more closer to more predictability. We need to give lot of weightage, lot of discretionary. The problem solving capability has to be enhanced. The AI doesn't give us critical thinking. AI doesn't give us problem solving ability. What AI doesn't also give us is prompt engineering. What we call it as prompt engineering is how do you exactly prompt the ChatGPT, for example, to get what exactly you want. How precisely you expect it, how precisely you prompt it. These are the few examples where we can teach the educator and the children in the classroom, make use of AI as a tool to enhance the growth of a child, growth of a development, without compromising all the fivefold development. This is absolutely necessary.
Since you are talking about the age, since you are talking about the cognitive evolution and everything, what is the particular age we are looking at? I mean, is there a particular age after which AI should be introduced?
Yes, yeah, this absolutely, and during the entire process, what exactly are we trying to develop? If we do not provide, if we do not help or use any tool to develop an individual faculty, for example, the faculty of observation, the faculty of hearing, the faculty of listening, the faculty of imagination, the faculty of reason, the faculty of logic, if all these things are not developed, and if you just use a tool and then which helps you to just give a complete the performance, it doesn't help. The cognitive, all these cognitive faculties, which are actually mental faculties, the faculty of imagination, all these, for example, all these faculties have to be developed, and then AI can become an extremely powerful tool to help to develop these tools. And this age-wise, what you ask, I personally feel that I've also been on many international forums in the education, also with respect to SDG 4, Sustainability Development Goal 4, which talks about education part of it. So it's mainly that we're coming to that until and unless these cognitive faculties are developed in a child, it is not possible. I mean, we should use the AI as a tool very discretionary, and the introduction of the tools can be in a very, it's already there. It's already there in classroom directly or indirectly, as BG, Dr. Dutta said, and because it is basically enhancing those kids' abilities to develop a particular plan. But what we are talking here is in a different context. So this is an absolute tool. Up to 7 or 8, the age of 7 or 8, I personally feel the AI tools should not be given directly to the hands of the children and make use of that faculty. It can be, a lot of problems, AI-generated problems can be given. Please do not mistake me. I don't say that AI should not be given, or AI generated. For example, PPT should not be, prepare a PPT or prepare a project using ChatGPT should not be given. At no point in time, the creative ability, the innovative ability, because one of the greatest tool that is given to a child is insatiable curiosity that has to be taken forward. Thank you very much.
Absolutely true. Well said, well said. So, I see you taking notes, ma'am. Would you like to add something here?
Yeah, thank you so much. I might have a slight contrarian view with Sir. Not in what should be done or how the child should learn. I definitely agree. You can see a lot of wisdom in what he said. But the way AI is envisaged being implemented in schools, I think there was a little difference in my understanding, because when we talk about personalized learning, when you have, for example, if you have a classroom with a teacher who has about 30, 40 students, and 30, 40 students might not progress equally. That's what we have seen all our lives. And might not be equally bad either. Each one is differently gifted. Now, can that one teacher identify correctly? If he or she can identify and move this child to her desire of success, then I would say the teacher is extremely successful. But that doesn't happen. Now, where does AI come in? AI comes in when each child's difference can be identified through machine learning by studying millions and millions of children. And in a way, a machine records data and information much better, takes decisions much better than even if we, human beings, are creative thinking and, decision making, all that is there. But we lack in, filing this data, using the data that we've already learned. 80% of our brain is hardly used, but machines are not like that. So I think we should harness AI to personalize learning. For example, when you see a child, we've heard of homeschooling versus, classroom learning. Homeschooling works for many children because that mother or the enabler or the tutor pays attention to that child and the child's abilities and the child's talents and the child's struggles. This is what AI should harness and should be able to bridge in personalized learning. So if you can come up with a solution.
Dr. Dutta wants to add something.
Yeah, if I can just finish for a moment. So that is one thing. And then curriculum development, which Sir talked about. Definitely there is a certain progression learning, and that should not be short-changed. But that curriculum can be honed by using AI tools, because technology, knowledge, everything is changing. I've been in higher education. When I was an engineering student, I used T-squares, I used other tools to do drawing, physical drawings. Now nobody does physical drawings anymore. They use CAD, they use Solid Edge, they use all kinds of digital tools. Computer programming used to be coding line by line. Now you can just pick up code off the shelf and create much better problems. But should the child learn line by line coding? To what extent? So curriculum development can definitely and should definitely change. And I think artificial intelligence or machine or the changing emerging environment should participate, should be harnessed while we are creating these curriculum. And about compatibility with the institutions, how institutions can utilize AI, I would say what is required is, institution to institution, definitely some infrastructure changes will be required. There's a digital literacy which has to be enhanced. The correct kind of data has to be given, fed in for AI. It's not God. It's not going to be God anytime soon. It's not going to be equal to human also anytime soon. We definitely can control what we are going to use. But we'll have to use it, feed the right kind of data. So definitely, and ChatGPT is not the example of AI. It's not the AI that we want to implement in schools. ChatGPT is an AI solution, but that is not the solution that schools should use to enhance their education. There are several other tools, several other solutions, which we can go into further into the panel perhaps.
So here I just want to add something. When we talk about AI, we know the potential of it. Please remember that it will have its pitfalls as well. So everything that comes in has both the drawbacks as well as the don'ts and the do's of everything. So when we are talking AI inculcation into the school periphery and the classrooms, then we should know the apt. This word is very important. The apt amount of AI to be introduced into the classes. We are having AI starting from the grades 5 to 12. So the grade 5, what they will be learning in AI is completely different what the grade 12 will be learning into that. And this AI has given a big impetus in the learning system. They have not only categorically identified what are the things that the students need to carry it further, they have categorically identified the significance of the components of our learning schedule today. When we are talking about curriculum is something that the AI is not creating for us. We are creating the curriculum, inculcating the AI modules, which is aptly required for the students' cognitive development. And once these are put into the right portion, into the right classes, into the right students, definitely the right amount of result will definitely be procured from these classes. I think.
Any worries on the count of ethical vulnerabilities?
Yes,
ethically, yes.
Ethical vulnerability will be definitely there. So
Yes.
there are certain things that we can make it. Transparency. We can look into the vulnerability criterias. So we can make them very visible. The transparency should be there, that what we are utilizing, for what purpose it is being utilized. And accountability. Accountability is one thing that should be taken forward ahead very strongly. Because if accountability is there, definitely we are not going to take anything that will be wrong into the classroom. So there are ethics in volumes and files. Then again, I would like to stress on the point that ethics in the volumes, it also comes in apt portions to each class. So our transparency, accountability, and the feasibility of making it into move towards a positive direction is good enough to balance it inside the class. This ecosystem, we need to balance it. A kind of portion imbalancing it will definitely bring with negative results and output that we will definitely not look forward to have with us.
Veda, your thoughts?
Yeah, I just wanted to add on a few pointers because majority I think I agree, but one thing which I would like to stress, as everyone said, the machine will not be replaced by the human. That's for sure. Because never a machine learning can be replaced by the human, because EQ can never be touched upon of whatever we give it to them. But at the same time, the technology what we are in, we need to get adapted. So a collaboration of both of this needs to be balanced. And at the end of this point, whatever we really need to look into it, basically I feel skills. Whatever the skills we really need to give it to the educator or the student is very, very important, because the ground level implementation is where we fail a lot in most of the time. Because we speak about so many things, but when it comes to the implementation, we forget the basic details. So digital literacy and the mission knowledge which needs to be used, how it has to be used, the educators needs to be taken care. At the same time, we also need to look into it for the students, especially when we speak about ethical vulnerability and the awareness. Awareness is very, very important, to what extent we can really depend on it and how we can go about it and how we can really get deep into it without affecting the student's life. Though we say that we are not supposed to give it to the toddlers and at the same time, you know, the age group till 10 or 12. But at home you can see children having mobile in their hands. Without that, they don't do anything. So though we say that very strongly we are not supposed to give AI, but believe me, I feel in another 10 years or 15 years, even a small kid will be able to use AI. That's how the trend is moving ahead at this point of time. Yeah, it's too far, I understand, but over a period of time, the same thing we thought 5 to 6 years before, when we said that the technology will be used like this, we never accepted it. But now we are using it. So somewhere I feel this has to be inculcated in each and every one, like how we have to use this. That is what I feel very strongly, because the knowledge on where we can use AI is being spread everywhere. So we know how AI can be used, how the presentation using ChatGPT, AI, I think this has been used by most of us now. But what are all our limitations, how we have to use it, what we have to mainly debate and take it over and give it to our students.
And in this age of massive distraction, how do we inculcate critical thinking, problem solving, when the attention spans are diminishing? So, can you touch upon that?
I totally agree. Critical thinking and problem solving, as rightly said by Ms. Dutta and Sir, I feel very strongly anyhow, whatever we feed to the machine, that is what is being given to the students. But now, again, we need to make sure that critical thinking skills will be given to the educators over here, not the machine. So the critical thinking still lies with humans, not exactly over there.
Is that
And
your
they
thoughts?
get their polished outcomes through the AI.
That's true. Agree with you.
Mr. Brahm, you wanted to add something? Any divergent view on this?
Just like a machine learns, or like a child learns, it's a progressive activity. So the more exposure a child has, more experiences somebody has, you learn more. So I don't know if AI can distract you from critical thinking, because AI is not competing with the teacher. AI is an enabler for the teacher to do a better job in his teaching. It's not changing the knowledge that's being given, but just making sure that the child can consume that knowledge and therefore become more knowledgeable, instead of being the same he was in spite of a teacher teaching, if I'm conveying what I want to. So critical thinking is not something
So
that's...
are we looking at more T-shaped learning now, where we are multitaskers? What are the skills that students need to inculcate now in the age of AI and everything is changing so fast?
I think instead of being a broad-based learning, we actually go deep dive into what he wants to do. You're actually able to enable a child to learn, if it's possible, to tap AI to that extent. Each person likes what he wants to do, therefore he's not going to get distracted, and therefore he's going to be successful, and therefore he's going to contribute to the world.
Dr. Sabnis, your thoughts?
Yeah, you asked two things, like one is about the critical thinking, and then the second one is the skill that is required in the 21st century. In my personal opinion, the only skill that is required in the 21st century, which is the most important thing, is everyone's ability for multitasking. What is expected is, you are expected, for example, the availability of the AI intelligence. So you are able to do things much faster than what it is required. So your multitasking ability has to be so fast. And what is ultimately, if you come to the root cause of the multitasking, it is your ability to concentrate or focus, So how do you focus or how do you concentrate? That is switch off, switch on, switch off, switch on multi-phase. There are various activities where you should be able to concentrate, focus, deconcentrate, get on to the next one. So this ability to focus and defocus, concentrate, and this is the most important faculty that is required in the 21st century. But at school level, what do we develop to develop this skill, to give this skill? That is why precisely I'm saying that it is the faculty development which is absolutely important at the school level. The faculty of concentration. Now we have taken it for granted that 40 minutes is the attention span of a child. How does it come? It has actually been ingrained into me. I was also studied, I had 40 minutes, now also 40 minutes. We think there is a completely opposite theory. Suppose we are clubbing two classes together. For example, maths can be taught with art and craft. Geometry can be taught with art and craft. The fine motor skills, the cutting skills, the two-dimensional, the three-dimensional, the origami can all be clubbed with the maths class. It can be a wonderful teaching class. It's a simple concentration exercise in a class which enhances the faculty of concentration, improves the ability, improves the focus ability, which is the most required skill in the 21st century. So these are some of the faculties which many of the schools in their own way keep doing it. But they should probably take use of the AI tools, probably which will help the educators to devise more innovative methodologies or things which come to the... interestingly, there is a student in my class, in my school, it's about a 4th standard kid. I asked him to use AI and draw him a sketch, generate a sketch, a lion sitting on a rat. Within no time, the child was able to generate a lion sitting on a rat. Absolutely fine. I asked him, have you seen the lion or have you seen the rat? He has seen neither. Now, do we want this? That is precisely is the question. Do we show him the rat? Do we show him the lion? And then ask him to imagine whether the lion sits on the rat or rat sits on the lion is different thing. But here where the discretion comes into the picture, and then this is where I draw a line. But critical thinking, just last few words for the critical thinking. Ultimately, what is critical thinking? Critical thinking is nothing but the logic and reason when they come together and you are able to analyze. For example, a chat GPT will generate you some information, but am I in a position to accept it? Am I able to analyze it properly, whether is it right, applicable to the right, in the right context? That the AI tool will not give. That discretionary ability lies with human being even today, because we are all talking about probabilities only. As the technology refines itself, as we go towards the smaller and finer details, we are definitely going towards quantum mechanics, and quantum mechanics is nothing but the study of probabilities. So we are all talking about probabilities. So the focus, the concentration, the faculty of concentration, the faculty of focus, the faculty of critical thinking, analysis, and logic have to be developed in a child for the better use of AI. Thank you.
And interestingly, a few generations back, it was very common to see people... Thank you, everyone. Interestingly, few generations back, it was very common to see people pursuing 2 degrees. We had poets and scientists at the same time. So I think that age, when it can be without AI, AI can bring a lot of possibilities. Now, I want every one of you to design the curriculum for the future. Since we have this opportunity, what are your thoughts on how does future curriculum look like? Just last quick round, closing thoughts.
Okay, then I'll quickly
quickly
finish this
we'll
and
wrap
not
up.
take time, because I think this is
sorry,
a
I got lost in
woman-empowered
the
AI
conversation.
session, so let me give. So to answer your question, I'm actually involved in writing what is called as a National Integral Education Curriculum, which actually includes the conventional curriculum and also includes the role of AI into education. So it's a long way to go, but still we have a lot of efforts, lot of other hands, which are a lot of different disciplines which get actually involved. So that is a process. But only unfortunately today we are talking about implementing AI in our classrooms. Sir, actually we are all absolutely nice. We are implementing. Some of the schools are already implementing. But if you remember, if you want to say that, if today we decide that this has to be implemented in schools, and if this is the policy decision today, then we need to form the curriculum, we need to form the framework, national framework, textbooks have to come, and by the time it is implemented in the classroom, AI would have leaped, I think, many more folds by the time even if we want to include it in a regular manner. But sir, to answer your question, that process, that curriculum preparation is on way.
Veda, your thoughts very quickly.
Yes, as sir rightly said, the board has already started, we already have started working on that. So you can also see a right example of integrating it. Yes, as I said in my few minutes before the words, Yes, we will be implementing it. Yes, there are limitations which we need to look into it and take it ahead.
Mr. Abraham?
I'm much outside the school curriculum area, so I can only speak as an outsider. I think the curriculum has been honed, or what the children learn has been honed over generations. So, and it's a good job. What I feel in India we could do a little differently is the way we evaluate, the assessment. And the NEP and several other thought leaders are already working on these areas. But seeing the changes in today's world, and since we are in the context of AI, digital literacy and the ability to work with devices, this is something that should be incorporated in the curriculum. Otherwise, we're doing a marvelous job. Thank you.
Yeah, it is a very nice question that what will be the curriculum of AI in the school premises. I represent India into the UN and the UNESCO forums. Sir, I do also represent the SDG goals number 4. Just now, last week I came back from the Azerbaijan, Baku and Dubai conclave on skill education. So in this skill education, we were talking about what is the portion of AI that should be appropriately be present in the curriculum of all the schools premises, and that too with age appropriate and class appropriate. So while we were structuring it out, when the skeleton was made, in that skeleton flesh and blood can be added as per your requisitions. But AI should be there at least more than 26% of the curriculum that we are already in use of. With this 26% of curriculum, in 2040, it will go up to 46%. So it has its own strategies and it has its own scientific researches and algorithms where we need to understand that how slowly and simultaneously we need to include it into our curriculums. It cannot happen with a night of decision or discussion or with 6 months of curriculum inception and making it possible and presenting it to our students. So the curriculum that presently we are having, it is having less than 26% as per the UN that they had set the goals. So now in Indian context, I think it is 16% of AI that is getting involved into all the school curriculums. So we are little more ahead out of the 16%. So this school's curriculum should be, the SDG goals have not yet, I would like to stress on these words, have not yet given any kind of specifications that how much amount of AI should be included into the students or the children, the students of high school and middle school that they should incorporate in their learning. So NEP is also not talking anything on records of that. So the credit point system that we have brought in by the NEP, where we are reflecting and making the duplications of the Western education pattern, in those credit points, yes, AIP is trying to sneak in to all the institutions where they are not taking it appropriately. So curriculum formulation and curriculum building will take some time, and definitely the schools and the leaders, school leaders basically, it depends on them that how they are going to make it happen. So if they are seriously looking into it and trying to make it as a part of the school curriculum, then definitely they can follow the regulations of that amount of appropriateness that needs to be included, and hence the curriculums are there with different publications and different warehouses. We are taking from De Facto Ed, that is a company that is a UK registered. There they have given us and helped to build our curriculum. That's 26% in with students from grade 7 to 12. So that is how, it is an independent strategy that every school can take it. But yes, the percentage should be taken in the appropriate way. It should not be dangerous for our students, as rightly everybody told here, that it should be the class appropriate and age appropriate to inculcate that into our sessions. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for this wonderful session. I think we can be a little generous with our applause. So much to soak in, but it was an honor to moderate the session. Thank you so much.